They said funerals end with silence. But for Maya, silence was only the beginning. 10 years old, sitting on cold marble steps, she clutched a teddy bear so tightly its fur seemed to cry with her. Beside her, a battered suitcase sat open, its contents half-drenched from the bucket of water poured over it. Neighbors lingered across the street, watching but saying nothing. And above her, on the grand porch of the mansion that had been her only home, her stepmother's voice cut sharper than the autumn wind. "Take your things and leave. You don't belong here anymore." That was the world Maya faced after her father's funeral, grief, rejection, and the terrifying question of where to go next. Her father had been the anchor of her life, a man who tucked her in at night, who praised her drawings, who whispered prayers for her before bed. Now he was gone, buried under a stone slab, and the one person left to protect her had instead cast her out. Her stepmother stood tall in a red dress, her manicured hand clutching her husband's arm. He smirked, proud of the cruelty. With a sneer, she tipped the silver bucket again, as if to wash away any trace of Maya's presence. Water trickled down the steps, mingling with the girl's tears. "Please," Maya whispered, her voice trembling. "Daddy wanted me to stay here. He said this was my home." "Your father is gone," the woman spat, "and with him, any right you had to this family." The girl bent her head lower, as if shrinking might shield her. But cruelty doesn't stop for bowed heads, it grows stronger. And then footsteps, firm, fast, deliberate. A man in a navy suit ran up the driveway, his polished shoes echoing like thunder against the stone. Every pair of eyes turned. He was tall, broad-shouldered, his expression a storm of anger and purpose. "Enough!" His voice cut through the air, commanding silence. The stepmother stiffened. "Who do you think you are?" Ignoring her, he walked straight to Maya. He knelt, gently picking her soaked teddy bear from the ground. The girl lifted her tear-streaked face, eyes wide with confusion and fragile hope. "Are you all right, sweetheart?" he asked softly. Maya gave the faintest nod, though her lips quivered. Standing, the man turned to the stepmother, his eyes burning with fury. "You dare throw out this child? Hours after her father's burial." "She's nothing to me," the woman snapped. "This is my house, and she will not stain it with her presence." The man stepped closer, his voice calm but edged with steel. "This is not about your house. This is about a promise. A promise made long before you ever walked into this home." The stepmother frowned. "What promise?" He looked down at Maya, his expression softening. "Your father entrusted me with something very precious. He made me her godfather. If anything ever happened to him, I was to step in, not as charity but as family." Maya gasped, her small hand tightening around her teddy bear. Godfather? Her father had never told her. But the certainty in the man's eyes made her believe. The stepmother's husband scoffed. "You can't just take her." "Oh, I can." The man, Marcus Langford, a respected millionaire, replied. "And I will. By law, by promise, and by conscience." The bystanders, who moments before had stood silent, now began to murmur. Whispers of approval spread like fire through dry grass. Marcus reached for Maya's hand, lifting her gently to her feet. She wobbled but leaned into his strength. For the first time since the funeral, she felt steady. As they turned to leave, the stepmother's voice rose in shrill defiance. "This isn't over. You'll regret meddling in matters that don't concern you." Marcus looked over his shoulder, his expression hard as stone. "Protecting a child from cruelty will never be something I regret. But abandoning her? That is what your soul will carry forever." With that, he led Maya away, his stride steady, hers small but determined. Weeks passed. Maya's world shifted from fear to warmth. Marcus gave her not only a home, but also tutors, books, and nights filled with stories. He never let her forget her father, but he also never let her feel unloved. Then came the twist that shook the city. An investigation revealed that Maya's stepmother had forged documents after her husband's death, stealing property and bank accounts that rightfully belonged to Maya. The courts stripped her of wealth and respect. Neighbors who once feared her turned their faces away. She became a woman known not for her riches but for her shame. And Maya? She stood beside Marcus in court, not as a helpless child but as the rightful heir her father had intended her to be. Justice had found its voice through the man who had kept a promise made in silence, and through the little girl who refused to break under cruelty. She was no longer the girl on the steps. She was the daughter of a legacy, and the child of a godfather who had turned injustice into redemption.